Okay, so we have 2 lessons left in this unit. We've dealt with distance and midpoint. And who remembers what our ultimate goal of this unit was? Haley, right? Yeah, Haley.
We'll be able to find the midpoint on the formula to find the perimeter and area on the formula plan.
So our goal eventually was to find perimeter and area using distance and midpoint, right? So we're going to focus on finding perimeter today. Now, if I ask you to find the perimeter of anything, how would we do that? So if I asked you to find the perimeter of this room, what would I need to do? Okay, so I'd have to find the distance of all the side lengths of the room and then add them all up, right? So once we use the distance formula, the only other math that we're doing is adding. Here, okay, so we'd add up all the sides. So in figure 1, I give you a triangle. And in order to add up all the sides, I need to know what those side lengths are, right? So let's start with AB. So if I were to find the side length of AB, what would be the first step, do you think? In order to use the distance formula, what do I need? Points. I need to know what A and B are, right? So tell me real quick, count what A is. What is A? What is A? So everyone look at your paper and determine what A is.
-610.
Annie says -610. Do we agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. What is B? Five, 3? Do we agree with that? Okay. So you have to be able to identify those 2 points, which we've spent the last couple days doing, right? With that map activity, you chose a point and you had to figure out what that point was. And now we're using the distance formula. So step 1 from there is going to be label your points. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So distance equals the square root of 5 minus -6 squared plus 3 minus 10 squared. What happens here? What's 5 minus a -6? What's 5 minus a -6? So it becomes a 5 plus 6, which is 11, and 11 squared. $121. So if you don't have a calculator, this might be a good time to pull it out of your backpack. And then 3 minus 10 is -7. And what's -7 squared? 49. Giving me the square root of what? 170. And because we're dealing with distance and perimeter, we're going to round it to the nearest tenth. So can someone tell me what the square root of 170 is rounded to the nearest tenth? 13.0. So that is my distance here for AB. Now before we start distance for BC, what's another way we can find the distance of BC other than distance formula? Pythagorean theorem. Remember when we created a right triangle and we used a squared plus b squared equals c squared? Let's see if that maybe is quicker or easier, or if you like it better than using distance formula. So we're going to do that for BC. Everyone okay with that? Yes. Okay. So if I create my right triangle is going to be here. Right? Now I need to know how many units across and up I went so that I know what my A and B are, because C is my BC, which is what I'm solving for. So how many units do I go from this point C over? 2. Okay? And how many units do I go up? 4? I'm okay with 4.
I heard a 4 and a 5.
You heard a 5 too?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's count from this corner again. It's 4. Okay, so let's count just to be sure. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now Pythagorean theorem, and we're looking for BC, says a squared plus b squared equals c squared, which I don't know. 2 squared is 4. 4 squared is 16 equals c squared. And how do I get rid of that squared again? Square root. Both sides. Oh, I probably should have added those together. What's the square root of 20? To the nearest tenth? 4.5? So BC is 4.5. Which one do we like better? The second option? If you like distance formula better, that's fine. If you can create those 2 points or find those 2 points and plug it in, I'm okay with that. If we like the second option, because really all we're doing is counting then, how many units we go left and right and then up and down and plugging it in, that's fine too. All right, so let's find AC. Do we have a consensus on which one we want to do? Distance or Pythagorean theorem? Pythagorean theorem, okay. If you like the distance formula, then you go ahead and do that, but I'm going to draw in my right triangle. So we're going to count, I'm going to count along the bottom first. So everyone real quick, count along the bottom if you're doing Pythagorean theorem. What did you get? 9, okay. And then let's count up or down, however you want to look at it. What'd you get there? 11, okay. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 11 squared? 9 squared? 81. And what's 121 plus 81? 202. So 202 equals c squared. And if I want to take the square root of 202 to the nearest tenth, what do we get? 14.2. 14.2. So we did a lot of work there, right? To get the 3 side lengths that we needed, and we still have to find perimeter. So I know I have 13, 4.5, and 14.2. Perimeter says I add up all the sides. So 13 plus 14.2 plus 4.5 gives me what? What'd you get when you added up all the sides? 31.7. Can someone else confirm that? Yeah? Okay. So the only new additional piece that we're really dealing with today is perimeter and adding everything up. But distance and or Pythagorean theorem we've dealt with. All right, we're going to do number 2 together because I want you to notice something with number 2, and then I'm going to have you do 3 on your own, and then we'll be done with notes. Yes, McKenna.
Do you have to add like any units?
We should technically because it's perimeter. We don't have units, so our answer here would just be units because we don't know if it's yards, feet, or whatever. So yes, technically we should. So do you notice anything about number 2 that's going to be super nice for us when it comes to finding side lengths? So I have a quadrilateral. Do Do you notice anything really nice about any side lengths? McKenna?
You can just count two sides.
So 2 of these sides I can just count, right? Because one's horizontal and one's vertical. So I don't have to use any formula. I just have to count. So everyone take a second and count AB and BC. So count AB and BC. Did you get 12 for AB and 11 for BC? Okay, so those 2 are done. Now I just have to find the side lengths of AD and AC. Nope, AD and DC. So let's do AD first. Are we sticking with Pythagorean theorem? Yes? Okay. It's harder to see up here, but make sure you draw on this right triangle. And then count those side lengths. What did you get when you counted? 16 and 9. Okay, so 16 squared plus 9 squared equals C squared. And what's 16 squared? 256. 9 squared is 81. So 337 equals C squared. And what do you get when you take the square root to the nearest tenth? 18.4. Good. So this here is 18.4. I would like you to take a second and find DC. So either by yourself or with your group, find DC. What did you get when you counted across the bottom? 3. And when you went up? 5. So DC is 5 squared plus 3 squared equals C squared, or 25 plus 9 equals C squared. 25 plus 9 is 34. And the square root of 34 to the nearest tenth, 5.8. I know all my side lengths. So I have the perimeter equals 12 plus 11 plus 18.4 plus 5.8. 12 plus 11 plus 18.4 plus 5.8 to the nearest, well, just in general is what? 47.2, not 42. 47.2. And then we'll add our units there. Okay, I would like you and your group to complete number 3, please. So count the one that you can count, and then you'll have to find the distance of the other ones. What did we get for AB when we counted across? 5? Everyone okay with 5? I'm not going to actually go through and do distance or Pythagorean theorem unless somebody needs me to do it. When you solve for BC, what was your final answer? 6.4. Yes? Is there anybody that needs to see me do that one? Okay. What about for DC? What did we get for DC? 16.0. We can all confirm that. Is there anyone that needs to see that one?
If you didn't get that answer, then you do have a question. Just so you know, right? That's kind of simple. You either got that answer or you didn't. So make sure if you didn't get it, you just ask. Even if you ask silently to me or out loud to her, just make sure you get it. Correct.
And then what about AD? What do we get for AD? $6.7. Anyone need to see that one? It's okay if we do. Okay. So if these are my 4 side lengths and I add them all up, 5 plus 6.4 plus 16 plus 6.7 should give you 34.1 units. Okay. So as you go through this, make sure you understand that you can use distance or Pythagorean theorem. I'm okay with either one. You choose. When it comes to your homework, there are 6 questions. There's still a little bit of time in class. The first thing you need to do is plot these points. Okay? Because a couple things you're looking for if you plot the points. You're looking to see if you have a horizontal or vertical line, because in that case you don't have to use distance formula or Pythagorean theorem. You also need to see what points go with what line. So make sure you plot those points before you look for the length of them. Questions? All right.